All right, guys, I'm going to give you a little lesson on some of the tools available for us in Pixlr, which we've studied a little bit before. It's a Photoshop-like program that is web-based to edit your pictures on the internet on your Chromebook. So I'm using my teacher Chromebook here to edit a picture. I'm going to open one up from a hiking trip I just had on fall break. So here's a picture of a leaf with some rushing water over it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make adjustments to just part of the photo. I'm going to show you how to select parts of the photo using the magic wand, lasso, and marquee tool. Then we're going to burn and dodge part of it using the burn and dodge tool. We're going to use the sponge tool to saturate and desaturate parts of the picture. We're going to add some text on it. And lastly, we're going to take away a blemish or two using the spot heal tool. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do, like always, is go to image size. And Pixlr's acting a little funny for me today. Oh, it's actually working. So I reduced the size of the file by shrinking it from 4,000 pixels across to 1,500 pixels across. 1,500 pixels is still plenty. It's plenty enough pixels to make a good print, but reducing the file size makes it easier to work with our limited computer power here and having to do everything over the internet. So what I want to do is select. I'm going to show you how to select using different tools. So our selection tools are up over here in the top part of the toolbar. First thing is the marquee tool. So the marquee tool is going to draw a shape. Usually it's set as a square there. So if I wanted to, I don't use it very often just because there's very few exact squares or rectangles that are in my picture that I want to select, but it's there if we need it. So that part is selected. If I wanted to make an adjustment, it would affect only that part. So let's say I wanted to make a white square there and put text against a white background, I could do that. The next one that's really useful is the lasso tool. So that's selected there. Once I click on something, it should unselect so now nothing is selected. The lasso tool lets you draw a shape over what you want selected. This is a little more useful. Sometimes doing all this can get a bit tedious. So, and when you stop it, it starts from where it draws a straight line from your starting point to the end there. You can move that selection around there too. The wand tool, so let's, is controlled here by tolerance. So what it's saying is I'm going to select a pixel and I'm going to make it tolerant by 21 degrees to the pixels next to it. So if I select in this lighter part here, it's not going to add to it. I'm going to hold the Shift button down, which is going to add a little plus to the tool, if you can see that. I let it go and the tool plus disappears. So now I'm adding to my selection. And at 21 pixels with a 1500 pixel cross image, it has a pretty good tolerance. It's going to be selecting a lot of pixels around there. So, and that's not just the pixels are next to it. That's how different the pixels are. So everything that's close to this shade gets selected here. All right, so my leaf is right here. And I have way more selected than I need. So I'm going to go back to the lasso tool here. I'm going to hold the Shift button down, which adds the plus. And I'm just going to select all of that I don't need. And I didn't want the plus, I wanted the minus selected. So I'm going to undo this by going back on my history tool over here. One step. So the control button is the minus. So I'm drawing a circle around everything I don't want selected. Now I am going to hit the plus. There we go. That's how you make a selection. Let's say I wanted to lighten up this area here. Now the burn, the burn and dodge tools burn, dodge. Back in darkroom days, you would actually use your hand and make a little OK sign and change the size of the opening there and add more light to to parts of the photo you wanted to darken. After the rest of the image was already exposed properly, you would use the dodge tool. You'd like have a cord taped at the end of a stick, like a clothes hanger or something, and you'd keep light from hitting parts of the picture you didn't want to get too dark. So this is kind of a throwback to that. So I'm gonna use the dodge tool to lighten this part here. And again, this is done with a tolerance and a brush. So I'm going to make my brush bigger, and it's fuzzy at the end here. So I'm going to make it 100 pixels across. And I'm going to harden it a little bit. There we go. And this is how much do you want to affect the exposure? 50% is good. And again, because I have this selected, it's not going to affect stuff outside of my selection. All right, you want to see the difference there? We'll go back to the lasso tool. So that lightened that up. Let's do some more. Brings out some of the detail in the rushing water. We'll see what that, there we go. That's a good difference there. So we lightened that up. Now we're going to burn something down. What's a little too bright here? Let's say I think this little patch is too bright. It's outside my selection, so it's not working. Okay, I'm gonna darken this down a bit. Okay, so that darkened that. Actually, I don't want to darken that down, so I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna go back to the lasso tool here, Shift plus, to select all the little glowing pixels there. So if I look at our rubric here, I've used the burn and dodge tool. I've selected things using the wand, lasso, and marquee tools. Now I'm going to use the sponge tool to saturate and desaturate stuff. Okay, so here's the sponge tool. And the mode is on saturation. So this is going to add color to the parts of the image that we use a sponge on. That's probably a little too much. Let's Control Z that. Let's go back. How about we put that down to like 12%. So again, it's not going to affect stuff outside that selection, so I can kind of not worry too much about staying in the lines here because it's blocking it from going outside the lines there. That looks kind of messy using that. So it did add some color to it. Let's see what happens if we just use the adjustment layer over here. Hue and saturation. And like I said before, we have a selection, so it's only going to affect certain things. So we go up 100%. That's as much color as we can add to that. Okay, I'm happy there around 14%. Now here's what I'm going to do. Okay, I got to click OK. Okay, I'm going to inverse my selection. I'm going to invert selection. Now everything outside of the leaf is selected. And now I am going to go right back to saturation. I'm going to go the other way on the stuff that's outside. Now I've taken color away from the rocks and only left color in the leaf. Now let's go to the lasso tool and we'll select off the leaf there. Now it looks like the leaf is a colored leaf in a black and white world. All right, pretty cool now. Last thing we're going to do is, oh no, we got two more things. We're going to add text and we're going to get rid of the blemish using the spot heal tool. So the spot heal tool is a little band-aid here. So say somebody has a boo-boo and we want to fix their boo-boo in the photo so that no one knows about it. So it looks like we're drawing a big white spot there, but when we stop doing that, that little black spot on the leaf is gone. So let me show you. See it? Now you don't. See it? Now you don't. So that was the spot heal tool. And all you do is press down on there and it disappears. And that also can be adjusted here with the size. You can choose to blend nearby or generate a pattern. So depending on your photo, you might want to use those adjustments to change things around a little bit. The last thing we're going to do is add text. So down here at the bottom, my text window is off the screen. Let's click to a different tool. Let's try typing up here. Let's try typing somewhere where I can see my whole box. There we go. Photo by Pablo Gla. Whoa. Don't know how to do accents in Chromebook, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. Change the font to there's no Helvetica. What's the deal? Let's do that. Can adjust the paragraph style down here. Doesn't give you much options for a drop shadow or anything like that. So now I'm going to use the hand tool to select my, yeah, it's not doing that. Okay, I guess I have to have the hand tool selected, unlike other programs. Okay, so I have the type tool selected and not the hand tool. So I'm going to put that down here at the bottom corner. Click OK. All right, and to submit this properly, I'm going to, right now this is no longer a JPEG because it has different layers and it can't be saved as a JPEG. So we're going to have to flatten. the image. And now we can use it as a JPEG again. Save it as a JPEG there. 80, I'm going to name it Advanced ADV Pixlr 001 underscore my initials. Okay, it's saved in a Google Drive, and to submit this, you submit the picture you worked on, and you submit the original image before you worked on it so that your instructor can see the changes you made to your image. Thanks a lot. I hope you have fun with this assignment.